Oh, we're live. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to Indie Comics Interviews. Tonight we have a guest who's been on here before. We have Michael Beacon with Seven Legions. That book looks like a lot of fun. Michael, you there, brother?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Hello.
Just want to make sure you were because you went to
Right.
icon mode. I'm the only one showing my face. How awkward. Um, so tell us the elevator pitch on Seven Legions.
All right, so it's Star Wars meets Skyrim in an Akira Kurosawa film with a little bit of Rocketeer mixed in. Azrakal served the Seven Legions for over 2,000 years until he had discovered a plot to destroy them from within. But before he could warn the others, he vanished, leaving only his memories behind in the mind of Hiko, an orphan born in Field of the Pan's chaotic Civil War era. Now Hiko must choose between fighting the war that threatens the clan that took him in, or fighting the war to save the galaxy itself.
Are you reading that?
Nope, I'm just getting that good.
Like, that sounds like you're fucking reading it.
He memorized it.
That's funny. Yeah. So, okay. So, how far along are you on completing the book?
We're
for a while.
Yeah, we're nearing the end of the callers. Yeah, and then lettering's not gonna take that long. Then I'm gonna just order the proof copies and then going right to print. So hopefully by the end of next month we'll be shipping them. Hopefully, that's the goal.
So the end of July is the goal right now.
Yep.
You said that you just colors is what's left on that.
Yeah, just a little bit left on colors.
Okay. And then how far you go along with the lettering process and stuff?
It's just gonna, like, I got a bunch of the pages lettered, but it's just gonna be like one thing I'm just gonna sit down all at once and just like do it. Like last time I did it, it was about a week. So yeah, I think just 1 week I could have it done with the letters and yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot of time to do lettering if you're
Yeah.
comfortable with it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Although if you're like me, you'll get the letters done and then you'll go back and you'll look over it again and then you'll change something and then you'll go back and have to look over it again because you changed something and then you'll change something else and you have to go back and look over it again because you changed something else and then
Yeah.
it makes it take 10 times as long.
Yeah, that's like I kept running into that problem. I'd get a page done and like with the programs I use, it's like, oh, I can't just go back and edit. I got to trash what I got and go back through it again. And it's like, you know what? I'll just do this all at once when it's done, and just sort of like get it done in a day, or get it done in a few days.
I do my lettering in Photoshop, so each page is basically standalone. But but I seriously, like, when I rewrite something or I add something, I feel like I got to go through and read everything again and proof everything again. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know what that is. It's just like, and then even that, I'll do 2 or 3 final proofs. We got Michael Lemons in the and Matthew Lemons in the chat there. Hey Matthew, how's it going? Good to see you.
Hey.
What's up, man? Yeah. So, what inspired Seven Legions? Where did the idea come from?
Well, it initially started in like high school. I had like just finished up a novel that I'm never going to be releasing because it's shit. But this was going to initially be the sequel to that. But then I got the idea to just mix in supernatural elements, like the angels, and it just sort of like evolved from there. Just like little ideas that I would come up with along the way, to, like make for a more interesting universe. And eventually, like when the show Ancient Aliens came on, it's like, well, this stuff is all bullshit, but that's kind of cool to think about. So I worked in like mythology and fantasy elements. Made a whole sci-fi fantasy universe where basically like the races of fantasy exists on other worlds as aliens, and there's a lot of Star Wars elements to it. There's some diesel punk style to some of the races. That mainly came from just my interest in Fallout. But yeah, just like a lot of little things here and there. Because I've been developing over like 13 years. So like it sort of evolved over time. But yeah, just like I've always had an interest in I've had an interest in samurai since like high school, and just thought the angels were always pretty cool. And then it's like seeing the concept of like fantasy races existing out in space as as aliens and stuff. Just and it's sort of like just sort of gradually built up.
So, who is the main protagonist?
So we got sort of two protagonists. Each issue split into two halves. You got the continued adventures of Hiko, and he's the protagonist of that, of course. He's a samurai.
When you say each issue is split into two halves, how many issues are on this campaign?
Just two.
So this has 2 issues on it. Okay, so
so Hiko's adventure, that's going to be sequential, and he starts off as an orphan, gets adopted into a samurai family serving one of the feudal clans called the Azai, and because of and like every night he dreams of the life of Azrakal, and those dreams are going to be the other half of the issue, and they're going to be a self-contained story. And they're all going to come together to tell of the full universe, and they're all going to inform of things that are going on in the
okay, so back to the protagonist. So there's 2 protagonists, one for each each thing. So who, like the first half of the book, who's the protagonist?
Hiko, that's one of them, and then you got Azrakal.
Okay, so tell us about Hiko.
Okay, so Hiko, he's as I said, like an orphan. He gets adopted into a samurai clan, and he's because he has these dreams, he's sort of informed by these dreams, and like he it sort of like leads to him having a much more morally grounded way of thinking. Like he's often thinking in terms of like. He's often thinking on the level of someone who's like in a more advanced society where they can have like where they don't have. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought there. But it's like he's got a more like informed moral view, but he also likes to because like he has these dreams, he tries to tell people about it, and they think it's story, so he's known as a storyteller to the villagers and stuff. But yeah, then there's also Azrakal. He's the protagonist of the other half of the story. He's he grew up on a colonial farm out in and he became a biologist before he became a soldier. And throughout 2,000 years, he served the 7 Legions, which is a galactic peacekeeping force. And he eventually became a Seraphim, which is a genetically engineered type of angel that has one of 7 abilities. And he got the ability to create life forms. So yeah, he's sort of a leader. Yeah.
All right, so he's sort of a leader, so I don't really like have a feel for him yet. So can you tell me
technically he's part of an angelic army crew type of thing.
Yeah, he's like a military leader. He's like on a council of 7 who basically lead the 7 legions, and it's very much like a Justice League sort of situation. You got 7 different people with 7 different powers. And yeah, they sort of form a pantheon almost. And he's someone who sort of values his subordinates, and values everyone that he meets, and he keeps records of people because he knows that he's going to live for a very long time, thousands of years already. So he keeps records of them just so he never forgets the people who are special to him. And that's the sort of guy he is. He values other people, values individuals.
What's his biggest challenge?
Well, he's not really quite a good leader. He's also got a bit of a temper. Yeah.
He has to fight. He has to learn his way into being a leader.
Yeah, that's something he comes to terms with throughout the course of his life. And yeah, he's just has a bit of a temper. Not doesn't start out a very good leader. Yeah. Sorry.
All right. So what's his? Okay. So in the first tale, the samurais, right? Now,
Yeah.
Matthew Lemon here was asking, right, talking about samurais in space, and I believe the first part's not in space, right?
Eventually, like throughout Hiko's life, but because he has these dreams, and people are trying to find out where Azrael went when he vanished, he's basically like their biggest clue as to where Azrael went. So he winds up becoming involved in this in the feud between the seven legions and their enemies, and yeah, so he's the only human on Earth who can actually see the other races, because the other races are hidden from humans by a mysterious cloaking force that no one really quite understands. So he winds up becoming involved in it, but like there's not really a whole lot of people who wind up going with him in that, from from Earth. But so he's basically like the only, like really the only samurai in space, pretty much. Eventually, he gets there.
The only samurai in space.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you call him single space samurai, or single samurai in space, something like that. All right. So what? So you've had this idea for a very, very long time, and why two stories?
Well, they are going to eventually weave together, but it was just sort of something that sort of developed over time. Just as the idea sort of developed, I just sort of like the idea of having like Hiko and Azrael connected in this way. And initially it was just like Hiko was sort of haunted by the spirit, because like back when it was like more of a supernatural story. But then it was like, he would have these dreams that actually Azrael's memories. And I was like, when I finally started writing as a comic, I was like, it just sort of made sense to sort of split the story, split each issue into two halves like that. And the good thing about that is it allows me to have two different art styles between the two halves, which also cuts down on production time a good bit. Because I got two artists working on it at the same time.
And they're both done now, right?
Oh yeah, their work is done.
So okay, so not giving me a whole lot to question back with here, Michael.
So you got two issues in there when you back one book. How many books in total do you have planned for this?
I have 30 issues planned right now, and I plan on releasing more in future campaigns. Like in the next one, I'm going to try and do 3. Like initially, I had planned to unlock more issues through stretch goals, but we didn't get those funded fast enough. But yeah, I plan on doing much more in future campaigns to get it out faster. But yeah.
So okay, so who's this dude with the red face right here?
Okay, so that is Josiah. He's a heavy weapons specialist, and he's what's called a blood Eldrian. So there's like the Eldrian, they're basically the elves. They're all telepaths, and each sort of elf has a different type of telepathy. So the blood Eldrian, they can control others, but Josiah, he had an experience early on in his life that led to him refusing to use his abilities. He's basically disgusted by his own people. And he, aside from that, he's also sort of like he's the guy who's constantly joking. He's doesn't take things too seriously. He likes to mess with his other crew members and stuff. He's sort of like not quite typical what you think of with an elf. Like likes to joke, and he's a heavy weapons guy.
Sweet. So he's a heavy weapons guy. Okay. So is he buff? I can't really tell in this picture.
Not quite. He's just sort of middle of the road, really. He just has like a big Gatling gun with a laser cannon at the center. It's a sort of an experimental weapon. So.
All right. Well, who are these ladies here?
Okay, so that's Alana and Midriel. Alana is the redhead, and Midriel is the blonde. Alana is a psionic specialist. The angels have psionic abilities, like they have a force push style telekinesis and pyrokinesis, and it's essentially like they can get stronger by practicing with the abilities. Like basically like your run of the mill angel civilians they'll be able to light their grill with their pyrokinesis, but that's about it. But she's much more powerful than that. Because she's trained all her life in that skill set, and she's basically one of the strongest who's not one of the seraphim. And Midriel, she's a sniper. She came from one of the enemy empires of the Seven Legions, called the Lilithian Empire, and it's sort of like they have a sort of caste system, and she became disillusioned with her civilization when she just saw some things that woke her up to what was going on there, and she basically became an informant to the Seven Legions, and eventually she wound up leaving the Lilithian Empire to join the Seven Legions, and she's basically became a sniper from there.
Okay, now when you say sniper, you mean like in a traditional sense, or just like does she actually have a gun that she uses to snipe, or is there something else going on there?
Yeah, so
everybody else got psychic powers, you know what I mean? So I'm like,
she's got she's an angel, so she has those abilities. She doesn't quite specialize in them like Alana does. But she uses a railgun sniper rifle. Pretty much all the weapons in Seven Legions are railguns, but she hers is built for more long range. But
Okay. Who's this here?
Okay, that's Azrakal. That's like a sort of an Iron Man view of his, like the internal HUD thing on his helmet. So he's the, I told you about him. He's the Seraphim who, can make, he's the protagonist of that side of the story.
All right, and this is what, like his main spaceship, or?
No, it's just a spaceship they commandeered after, because issue 1 starts off they are returning from a mission in which they were fooled into killing civilians. They were told that these civilians were actually like terrorists, and they're like Dark Eldrian, which they have a negative telepathy. Their telepathy actually cancels out, actually like sort of jams other people's telepathy, and everyone else relies on that to communicate effectively. So the Dark Eldrian are pretty much the only race that you can't be quite understood by other races. So they're sent to stop these supposed terrorists who are actually just going to rescue their children who have been kidnapped by the enemies of the Seven Legions, who basically set up an outpost to basically get a bunch of child soldiers who and the Dark Eldrian that they were sent to kill, their kids were Avarials, which is a hybrid between an angel and an Eldrian, which is like they got all the abilities of their parents magnified. So they were kidnapped to be child soldiers of the enemies of the legions, which is they formed a group called the HLF.
And what does HLF stand for?
It's the Hybrid Liberation Front. They gave themselves a flattering name, basically. Where have we seen that before? But they basically they operate under the guise of liberating hybrid races or hybrid beings to give them the same rights as everyone else, even though they already have many of the same rights as everyone else. But really, they're just trying to weaponize them for their ultimate goal. So,
okay. And this is the same person here, or
yep.
I can't tell. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Azrael.
Okay, and this is the redhead from here.
Yep.
So this is all the same cast.
Yep.
Yeah, you'll notice the style change.
Yeah, on issue 1, we had a bit of a we had a bit of an issue with like one of the artists that I had for issue 1, he wound up having to quit. But because it's a dream sequence, I said, well, actually work that sort of art change into the story, because in issue 1, Hiko is sort of met like someone by the name of Arios. He's a retired seraphim who has the ability to project his mind into the minds of others. He comes across Hiko as he's having this dream. He's like, kid, I'm not sure why you're seeing this, but this clearly isn't a dream, and we got to find out why this is happening. And he sort of like, all right, I'm going to help you focus. And that's when the dream gets more, like when the style gets more realistic proportions and stuff.
Okay. So it started out with more.
Yeah. So the guy, those pages there, that the guy who did those pages, he has kind of like his style, I would consider it kind of like a cross between like Narwhal's style and an anime sort of style. And yeah, he's pretty good. It's just, he wasn't able to stick with it.
Well, it looks like he changed up for the better.
Yeah. Henry's style is definitely a lot easier to color, but I've also since I did issue 1, I've improved enough in my coloring that I'm recoloring issue 1.
What's going on here?
Okay, so they're at a building called the Temple, which is like the headquarters of the 7 legions. They're actually going to try to inform the others of what just happened, and they're sort of realizing that it's been cleared out. There's no one there. Someone there's probably someone waiting for them. So they're just like making their way in. You got the white speech bubbles there. That's Hiko. That's it. Like, so you got 2 layers of dialogue. You got Hiko and Arios talking over, like sort of like, they're basically just watching this dream happen and sort of talking, figuring things out. And you got the other layer of dialogue, which is basically everyone else. Azrael, Midriel, Alana, and all them. Actually going through the events of the dream.
Okay, but this is not the dream sequence itself, is it?
Oh, it is, yeah.
Okay, this is the dream sequence. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, dokie. Let's see here. This is basically with lettering and without them. We're looking at here, right?
But yeah, with lettering and like the new colors on it.
So the ones with lettering has the new coloring.
The ones without the lettering have the new coloring on it.
Okay, so this is the new coloring.
Yeah.
I'm all analyzing the coloring during the show. Probably not the best time to do that. All right, so what's going on here?
So
the temple?
Yeah, they're inside the temple. It's a sort of a hall that has like statues of each of the different races. And yeah, they're sort of like further realizing that the area has, someone has secured it for what they imagine to be an ambush. And then they step in, they see that guy down there in the white. He's what's called a throne, which is another type of genetically engineered angel. They're basically super soldiers. They got all the normal powers, but it's just like amplified.
And that's a little halo that identifies the angels, or
Yeah, so like the halos, they're sort of like an aura glow above their heads, and they sort of like they'll change with their emotion, but also according to their religion, when an angel loses their halo, that means that they're damned for eternity. So Azrael, Alana, and Midriel have all lost their halos after that mission where they were told to kill, or they were tricked into killing civilians. So they believe that they that they believe that what they've done has doomed them. But then this guy here, the throne, he's actually a traitor, but he still has his halo. So there's something going on with that that no one's quite informed about.
well, is it possible for them to regain their halos or get a new halo?
Not as far as anyone knows.
Okay. Secrets. I see.
Yep.
What's going on here?
So that's in issue 2. That's the dream sequence in issue 2. You also notice how much Henry Pontiano's style has improved from issue 1 to issue 2. So this is an event further back in Azrael's life. He's actually just joined the military pretty much, and he's been sent on a mission to the Seven Legions had just discovered the goblins and the orcs, and they found that the goblins were enslaved by the orcs. So they sent a mission to free the goblins, and this is them dropping down to the planet to fight the orcs to free the goblins. So yeah, they sort of have like a little paratrooper scene there. You got like a dwarf in there, Jogar Olfstead. He's the guy with the axe. Yeah, and there's Chris Evans drawn in as the orc who on the next page gets his face split by the axe.
Yeah, I love that. I love that dwarf.
Yeah.
Let's see here. And what's here?
So that's them preparing to leave on the drop ship. So you got the big ship there. That's
So wait, this is this before this?
Yeah.
You got them backwards.
The issue 2 pages are sort of out of order. But yeah, so you got the galleon ship. That's the lead ship of the fleet. They pretty much carry the whole fleet to their destination, and all the other ships sort of break off from there and separate for battle. So yeah, they're just getting ready to take off in the drop ship. And yeah, there's the drop
I like
ship.
the artwork. I like the artwork a lot.
Yeah, and that's from Hiko's side of the story. That's in Pablo Romero's anime style. Yeah, it's sort of like a retro anime, retro manga style. So Hiko's village has come under attack by a clan called the Saito, and so they're running to escape. And Hiko sees the daughter of Arios, Parlu. You know, she's the angel with the red wings there, and you know, he's just sort of like trying to get their help. It's like I can't quite do that because we're not allowed to interfere. And then he runs into Omi Yoshinobu, the samurai on the bottom of the page there, who he becomes Hiko's adoptive father. So yeah.
So the Ascending Apothecon has a question here.
Okay.
Would the song "Wayward Son" fit with the ships coming to liberate the goblins?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe Flight of the Valkyrie or something.
So what's with the face here? I don't think she's constipated.
That's Hiko. He's sort of like he's terrified because he's got these soldiers that are chasing him. The lady who is helping them has just been captured, and he's just sort of like clenching his eyes, just sort of like running, he's like very terrified, and like he runs into these soldiers, the good guys who, they're basically, as soon as they sort of run into them, it's like duck and cover. and the soldiers.
So who's the booby girls?
Okay, so that's Kade and Osora. They're sort of, Osora is, she becomes the adoptive mother of Hiko. They're sort of kunoichi, female ninjas, and they sort of like dress exactly alike. They sort of look alike. They're cousins. So they sort of have like a body double sort of thing. They're sort of like, this is later on when they've when they arrive at the Saito camp and do battle there.
And that's it for the imagery. Oh wait, no. What's
Yep.
This is
that's
this,
what
this,
that's one of the prints that backers of the print tier and above will be getting. That's by
Okay.
Pablo Romero, colored by me.
okay. And is this like airplane one of something that they use? What's the airplane? Is it just
it's
like a throwback to World War II, or what are we talking about?
Yeah, it's a fighter plane. Seven Legions, their military sort of is very diesel punk inspired. So it's sort of like based on the Mustang plane, P-51 Mustang. I think it's sort of based on that.
Okay. So, what do you love most about this project so far?
It's a really it's a really cool universe. There's a lot of lore. I'm not going to throw it at people all at once. It's gonna it's gonna be revealed gradually over time. But it's also a very fun universe. You got the dwarves who have their mech suits and like to use jetpacks in battle. They're based on Norse mythology. You got the Undine, whose technology is living creatures selectively bred to serve as technology. There's a lot of cool stuff in this universe. Giant Kraken warships that do battle like you would imagine a Kraken would. It's just a very unique setting. Fun setting. There's not going to be a single issue without some sort of action in it. There's not going to be any talking in diners and eating bonbons and stuff. I mean, like maybe like a page.
Ah, bummer.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be a fun story. A lot to it. It's got a lot of my favorite things.
What are your favorite things?
Samurai, mythology, fantasy, angels, sci-fi action. There's going to be some space battles at some point. And yeah, just a lot of cool shit thrown.
A dwarf with a rocket hammer. Come on.
A dwarf with a rocket axe.
Yeah, the rocket axe kind of reminds me of Akira a little bit.
Yeah, like Aaliyah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a really fun character. He's just got a love for battle, and yeah, he's the guy who just sort of rushes ahead of everyone. He's like, I don't give a shit about the battle plan. Just let me at him.
So let's see here. This is imagery that's not below. What's going on here?
So that's actually the first page of the dream sequence of issue 2. It's on board the galleon. So inside the galleon, they've got a massive habitat area. The concept is called the O'Neill cylinder, which is which rotates to generate artificial gravity, and that's how they are able to do these long voyages. With the sci-fi element of the story, I don't want to go with anything that's too far-fetched. I want to go with things that are like that, as far as we know, are believable. Like this concept, like the O'Neill cylinder, using centrifugal force to generate artificial gravity. and they got a
But
whole
you're cool with like angels and
Yeah.
and paranormal like superpowers.
Well, the angels here are they're just like another. They're technically aliens. They come from humanity. I don't want to get too into that because it's very it takes a while to explain that side of the story. But yeah, they come from humans, and they're very organic. They they can live for a very long time. Oh, they can pretty much live inevitably until they are killed in battle or something.
Well, like if they're angels, like I guess there's like when they don't. It's not like some kind of spiritual thing when they they're like already living in heaven, right? So you say they die. I mean, is there like an afterlife for these people, or?
Yeah, in this universe, they don't quite live in heaven. They live on a world called Eden, and like they live very, very human lives. Like they go to work, they eat, all that. So there's no like magic or anything. It's not supernatural anymore at this point. It was at one point in the development, but yeah, it's very grounded as much as it can be. And like things like telepathy, like the telepathy is sort of like organic radio essentially. And telekinesis, yeah, I don't even bother explaining it. It's just something cool I wanted to have in the story. But yeah.
Let's see here. This is images we saw.
Yeah.
Well, let's give your which trailer do you want to watch?
We got the 30-second. That's the first one, and the longer one, which I don't like my voiceover on that. So let's go with the first one.
Oh wait, the longer one you like the voiceover?
I don't like the long. I don't like my own voice on the voiceover on that one.
Well, there's a lot of stuff in there I saw that we can talk about. Let's see.
Okay.
Here. This here when old franchises fail you. Obviously, that's a smack to
Star Wars,
Marvel, and DC.
Yeah.
Hey, who's this? Is this the protagonist?
Yeah, that's Azrakal. He's held at gunpoint after so the throne, who's the traitor, he basically tells everyone else that Azrakal's a traitor, and that he's able to basically say look, he doesn't have a halo, he's clearly not he's clearly evil now or something like that. So the throne is basically trying to get them taken away so they can't warn the others. But Azrakal, he's resistant to that. So that's what's going on in that picture.
Okay.
And then, like, Azrakal's able to convince one of the other thrones that, that the throne that's messing with them, that's trying to get them taken away, that he's actually the traitor. He's like, I got all this information that connects this guy here to what's going on. And if you just give me a moment to show it to the others.
All right, so this is the real traitor in the reflection?
Yep.
Okay. Now, who's in the helmet here?
Well, that's just he's just a nameless soldier. And he's one of the thrones.
What? I'm sure he has a name, man.
Yeah.
He's gotta have a name.
It's not one important enough to say.
Let's call him Bob for the moment.
Yeah, Bob the Throne. Bob the Good Throne.
Uncle Bob.
he's just there to collect a paycheck, and he's just doing what's right. So then, the bad throne tries to take Azrael out, but Azrael snaps the gun away at last second.
Yeah. Didn't want to put a bullet hole in that scar.
Yeah.
Let's see here. This follows that. Obviously, he hit a gas line with the.
There was an explosion. No one quite knows what's happened there. And also, I want to point out these are all the old callers, and I've recolored these pages since then. But yeah, there's an explosion. No one quite knows who set it off, but yeah. So this is at the start of issue 2. Hiko, after he woke up at the end of issue 1, he rushes to the shrine because he figures, who better to help him figure out these really weird dreams than a shrine maiden or the priest. And so he's talking to her, trying to figure out what he was seeing, and she has these drawings laid out. Oh, these drawings of creatures from Japanese mythology, just trying to figure out what ones he's actually seeing. But he's seeing angels and stuff, and the Japanese don't really have reference for that, so they're saying things like maybe it's a Tengu or stuff like that.
What's up here?
So that's in that opening scene of the dream sequence.
Are they flying upside down? Is that like the planet right there?
Oh no, the rotating habitat, generates artificial gravity through centrifugal force. It's sort of like the colonies on Gundam. So like, it's technically all the ground, but it's sort of like it's like the inside of a can or a cup.
I got you. So it's because of the centrifugal force. It's a really large ship, so they have like houses on the inner walls. Yeah. Okay, I got you. So what are they doing? What are they? It'll take just a minute. Fine. I like to see to the access the rotation and read the 0G, and I erase them. What's going on?
So he's interviewing her because he's recently got they've just got through training and everything, and he's just sort of like recording the video file because as I said before, he sort of likes to dedicate the people who are important to him to memory. So he's just sort of like recording a video file, just talking with like who she is as who his crew members are, so that thousands of years later, when he's lost all, when the memories have faded, he can just go back and rewatch these and remember who his friends were.
Okay, so she's his friend.
Yeah.
Oh, that skipped quick. Okay, now these are different angels because they have their halos, or is this before they lost their halos?
Yeah, this is before they lost the halos. Like, they lost their halos at the beginning of issue, before the dream in issue 1 starts, but this is about almost 2,000 years before that. So, actually, you see both of these angels in issue 2, and at that point in their lives, they're both seraphim. Kadra has the ability, when Kadra becomes a seraphim, she gets the ability to create portals. But yeah, they've been close friends through most of their lives. A bit of a romance for a while, and then of course you got the dwarf there. Sam,
I have to know, Sam, are you drawing with the sore wrist?
No, I'm not drawing. Trust me, I'm not. It's not just sore; it hurts like a bitch.
Because usually when you're this quiet, it's because you're drawing. So it's like,
yeah, I was doing sketch card earlier, but I stopped.
And there's the dwarf with the rocket axe.
Yep, Yogar Ulfsted.
Yeah. Well, what happens if you fucking lose fucking control of that shit? I mean, that's a fucking accident waiting to happen, man. That's
true, yeah. But he's got control of it. He's a dwarf. He knows his weapons.
Okay, and then your file is next, apparently, to the dwarf.
Yeah. So right there, he mentions Valhalla. In the Dwarven Society, they have a virtual world called Valhalla, where they figured out how to upload the minds of the dead. And so the minds of the dead are uploaded into this virtual world. It's basically like a computer battle world sort of thing, and they'll settle their wars in this battle world, and like they'll settle their elections there as well. So like if when it comes to choosing the new leader, they'll basically all go in there, state their case. The dead will pick their side, and whoever wins the battle becomes the new leader. But it's it's a virtual world, so no one's really killed in it, and they need that because their world is very deadly. But yeah, he's saying. So those are just back. Yeah, so those guys in the background are just background characters. But yeah, he's basically saying, you don't need a file on me. You can always go visit me in Valhalla. You can always just go in there for chat in there and do battle just for the hell of it.
Okay. Let's see here. What's
Yes.
this?
That's the print by Carl O'Rowe. That's the three main villains of the sci-fi fantasy side of the story. And they'll eventually come into Hiko's timeline as well.
Okay. Now, is this a scene from the book, or is this also a print?
That's also a print. That's by Henry Ponciano, colored by me. That's you got Hiko at the top when he's an adult as a samurai. You got Osora just beneath him, Kaede, and Yoshinobu, his adopted father. And it's just them facing off against a bunch of enemy soldiers. And the color schemes of the soldiers sort of based on the clan that they'll face off with throughout the course of the story.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so this scene's them escaping after the explosion has gone off, and sort of he's telling them to use stun rounds so that they don't kill anyone, because he knows that aside from the one throne, everyone else is just they're not really the real enemy. So
Okay.
yeah, they're just fighting their way through that hallway.
What's this big ring right here? Is that part of the hallway, or is that like something coming out?
That's a door. Yeah, a door frame. And there she is using her telekinesis, just knocking a statue down to block the path.
Why don't you just knock them down?
Yeah, she just knocked. Yeah, she just knocked the statue down, sort of like create a little barricade there, and they get shot with stun rounds there.
This is a stun round.
Yeah.
What's this? And who's this guy in the middle here?
So Azrakal is creating a creature to sort of keep them occupied, so that the Azrakal and his group can escape. So he basically creates this big old meat shield creature that sort of just starts attacking and absorb bullets pretty much until they can escape.
It says that was a bit overboard, so apparently his companions believed that he was a little bit too big for the purpose of the.
Yeah, it's like, this looks a little bit too deadly, a little bit too much for the job.
And then this is them leaving the.
Yeah, so like right before that, Josiah had been looking back. He goes, what was that you just said about stun rounds? And he goes, their armor can take it. Just go. And all of a sudden you hear one of the soldiers yelling, "It's got Elos! Kill it! He's like, sure. And they're about to make it back to the ship, and it gets, missile flying at it.
And then it blows up.
Yep, and a piece of shrapnel nails him in the side. But he survives that.
Well, it'd be a short story if you didn't.
Yeah.
All right. So, what are you most excited about people finding out about this book? Hexile in Comics thinks it's badass, by the way.
Yeah. So I'm just excited to see people get to know the universe, get to know the story, the characters. These are characters I've had in my head for a long time. I'm just excited to get to tell the story. One of the things I'm looking forward to is just seeing what people like most about it. It's going to be a really cool universe, and there's the potential after this plot line's finished to go into other stories, other characters. Maybe do at some point I could probably do a storyline about Josiah or Jogar Ulfsted, the dwarf, there's also events throughout the history of this universe that would be really cool to do a series on. But yeah, just like getting to see what people think of the universe. I would love to one day have this be the new Star Wars.
Okay. Yeah. So you want to have it be the next project that gets fucked up by SJWs?
Not in that sense. No. Just in the sense of, something to replace Star Wars.
Just making sure.
Yeah,
I want my project to be fucked up like fucking Star Wars was.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Yeah.
Bend it over. No, not
I want to sell it to Disney for fucking $4 billion so they can destroy it.
Yeah, oh God, no. If I sold the rights to anyone, I would have to have several clauses in
there. Okay, so you are at 57.39 on your raise on this so far, which is basically a little over $2,000 from where you were before. $2,000, $25 from when you closed it. Have you been pushing, or are you just kind of like not pushing? Because it's been since October.
Yeah, I've been pushing when possible. I've just mainly been getting stuff done. I got a day job, so just been, between day job, getting the pages done and trying to find places to promote. Just promoting whenever possible. But yeah, we got 4 more stretch goals to hit, and it's 2 more prints to unlock in those stretch goals, and you got dog tag to unlock and a bomber patch to also unlock. So I want to get people as much as I can.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to get in on it. You get 2 books for the price of 1.
Yeah. 2 books. You get a 4-pack of trading cards, a bookmark drawn by Sim, colored by me. You got button pins. That's just what we got so far. Next stretch goal is the dog tags.
So what's in the print here?
So that's everything I just mentioned, plus a 4-pack of prints. So that's the Carl O'Rowe print, the Narwhal print, the Pablo Romero print, and the Henry Ponciano print. And actually, just got the Narwhal print in today. They came out great.
Let's solo you. Hold on.
Yeah. So you got Hiko, Arios right there, and Parlu. It's Hiko and Parlu as adults. They sort of grow up together. It's really cool print.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Narwhal's art is pretty fun.
Oh yeah.
Cool. All right, so there's 4 posters, and then all the other stuff that comes for the print tier. Okay.
Yep.
And then the physical copy is obviously just the 2 issues.
Yep, the 2 issues and all the swag items.
Okay. Now, are they going to be separate books, staple stitched, or are they going to be together, or what's the plan on that?
2 separate books.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the international double pack, it's basically the physical copy times 2, so that because international shipping is so expensive, and I can ship double everything for about the same, just a little bit over. So the international double pack, the shipping is included in the cost. So there's no extra shipping on there. It comes to about the same price you would get with shipping on the physical copy, but you get double pack.
Yeah, there's some places you'll take a big hit on that. They order the international.
Yeah.
There's places that are expensive as like $30 for shipping. Like, so let's hope they don't order.
Yeah.
What's that now for the troops?
Yep. You get one copy of everything, and I send 5 copies. Oh, I think that's 5 copies. Yeah, 5 copies to the troops. And I'm sending that through Operation Paperback. I've actually just signed up for an account on there just to get everything ready. So yeah.
And then the retailer bundle obviously is designed for shops.
Yep, you get. Let's see, what was it? I think it was like 5 copies of everything.
It says 5 copies of each booklet.
Yep. Yeah, so 5 copies of each book, and the prints, and a piece of original concept art drawn by me. So that's going to be the only time this piece of art will be available. It's going to be the original sketch of characters, soldier types. I don't do ship types because I'm terrible at designing ships. But so you're gonna have new character designs, new soldier designs. It's gonna be the very first times these characters were drawn, and you'll have when a retailer backs that, they'll have that copy, to sell later when it's worth more.
Okay. And then you sold the sketch card.
Yep.
From Sim.
Yep.
Yeah, 3 out of 3, and they all went. That's awesome.
Again, sorry if I'm not speaking too much, but like I said, I'm in pain.
Well, okay, so we've pretty much covered the stretch goals. We've covered the story and the characters.
Well, if anyone is interested in this and wants to check into it further, I got 7legions.com, which has a deep dive into the lore. You can learn about the history of this universe, see what's going on there. Basically, after I fulfill this, I'm going to start working on issue 3, 4, and 5, hopefully. I'm hoping to continue this series to its completion.
And I have no internet. How could I have no internet? I'm like totally on the internet right now.
Because shit happens.
Yeah.
Usually when I eat a lot too.
Yeah.
But we're still alive.
We're still alive, yeah. An orphan becomes a samurai who takes on a galactic threat. 7 legions.
Oh yeah, there was a question that was asked earlier that I saw. So Ascending Apothecon asked, since Eden, if it's that's the name of the planet, has a blue sun, shouldn't the light emanating from it cast something like a blue tint? Not necessarily, from what I've been reading. It has, they're far enough out, and it's a blue sun is technically puts out more white light. And
think LED versus tungsten.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah. So and also in issue 1, it's at sunset. So it's got the reds and oranges. So yeah, it would technically look more like our night sky because it's got the same atmosphere as Earth. But yeah. So yeah, technically it is a blue sun, but it doesn't really have a blue tint to it.
Hex Allen says they saw the poster earlier. It slaps. That's what the kids say. He says.
Well, cool. I'd imagine that's a good thing. So
Yeah,
cool.
I hope that's a good thing. I mean, it could be a bad thing. We don't know which that is. We just hear what the kids say. We don't know what they mean by it. We just know what they say.
Those damn kids.
The damn fucking scallywags. So you could call it woke legions, but that sounds a little zombie story. And I think we're talking about selling it to Disney at that point. I'm not sure. It might have been. Let's see here. And then he says that's a great deal.
Oh, yeah.
Hex Allen approves. So if it's a great deal, Hex Allen, I hope that you're backing it for him.
Yeah, at 6,000 we unlocked the dog tags, so not far left to go.
So 6,000, that's not far away.
Yeah.
So we're seeing more imagery here. What do we got? Same imagery. Oh, look, uncolored imagery.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're on the page.
On the website. Oh wait, you know what? It would help if I shared it, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
It was shared, but what happened was
right now you're just talking to yourself.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the first time. Trust me.
I don't doubt it.
So there we go.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've updated this, but yeah, there is some art on here. That's when they start the battle with the Saito, where they attack the camp.
This is right here. This one.
Yeah, the black and white there. Yeah, it's some of Pablo's art there.
It's like what's that? I don't think we've seen that, but that's black and white.
Yeah, so that's of course it's been colored since then, but so like when they exit the area, like the habitat area, they it's zero gravity throughout the rest of the ship. So they use those things that they're holding on to. Those are mag sleds, and they just sort of like pull them around the ship to get them where they need to be.
All right, that makes me immediately have two questions. One, is there atmosphere in that part of the ship? And if there is, why aren't they using their wings?
Well, because it's just a lot faster to use those. Yeah. Those also double as the jetpacks when they get on the planet.
So, again, do their wings work?
Yeah, they do. It's just, when you're plummeting down from a drop ship, you need to make an emergency. You need to pull up an emergency sort of way. Yeah. It's just sort of like, for the angels, it's an emergency thing. For the dwarves and others, it's, they don't have wings. So
right. So, yeah, they need it because they don't have wings. Yeah. Obviously, they don't have wings. The wings don't work. So that's the dwarf, and what's going on here?
So they're like they're gathering up their ammo and everything, their battery packs for the guns, because their guns use fusion cells, and yeah, they're just getting ready for battle. Jogar's giving us a little file, sort of saying who he is, what he stands for. He says his greatest joys are battling, feasting, and being a godsend to the ladies.
Okay, and is this the official cover?
Yep, that is issue 2's cover.
Issue 2's cover. Okay.
Yep.
And we've seen that, and we've seen that.
Yep.
And this is issue 1's cover?
Yep.
So who did the artwork on that? That
was an artist named Federico Guillén. He was also on issue 1. Didn't stick around, but yeah, it's a scene from just all the characters standing.
Okay, and then this is the weaponry.
Yep, the gun weaponry concept art.
Why is it a leaf blower?
That's Josiah's Gatling gun.
It's a leaf blower, isn't it? He's messing with it.
You got concept art of Arios.
That is.
Yep, that's Arios there. And then next one is Parlu as a kid.
You know, I think we cycle around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you have the mythos
Yep.
explained here, and then.
Yeah, this is all the stuff talking about. Oh, this is all old info. Back when I started the Indiegogo.
These part of the swag items? I don't remember you saying anything about it, banking lockboxes.
Yeah, just a stock image that was on there. Yeah, sort of given a brief description of everything offered. You know, there were spots to get drawn in, but since all the line art's done, that's no longer available.
Wait, those aren't banking lockboxes. That's a fucking library card.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like what do I use to represent? It's whatever that image looks good enough.
Okay, so be a soldier of 7 legions. What's that about?
That was one of the that was one of the drawn in tiers. Yeah, those are all gone now because we finished the line art, so not gonna have anyone go back and redraw anything.
Right. Especially that would be a pain in the butt. All right.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, it's okay. Chris already made it.
Yeah. Chris is already getting his head split by a dwarf axe.
Sweet. All right. Okay, so all right, so that's cool. You can check out the website, 7legions.com. Let's see here. Let me grab that in there and pop it into the chat arena. And that might take at some point. Is it gonna?
There it is.
There it is. All right, so I guess then we can wrap it up. It's been a little over an hour, and we've pretty much I pretty much think I can pull everything I can pull out of you about your book.
Okay.
So, any final words to convince people to back this project?
You're gonna get a great deal no matter what you choose. A lot of stuff in there, a lot of swag items, and definitely check out the print tier. That's the best offer. And I'm gonna be telling you a great story. Great art too. We got Pablo Romero and Henry Ponciano, both really talented artists working on this. So yeah, give it a look. Check out the website. Back it.
Yeah, everybody go check out 7 Legions and
go before it flies away.
Yeah,
yep.
Before it flies away.
On jetpack or wings, either one.
Yep.
Yes. Everybody who came to the chat, Hex Allen, Apothecon, who else came today? Matthew Lemon. I guess we had a small audience, but everybody, thank you for showing up. We're really great to see you here. Appreciate you hanging out, and we'll be talking to you soon. Hail.